Namaste, I am Vaishali Siddharam Shakapure from GFGC Muddebhayal. Now I am going to explain the session number 4. Topic for this session is layout managers. In this layout managers in Java, I am going to explain the flow layout, border layout, and grid layout. Here, what are the layout managers in Java? Layout manager control the positioning and sizing of components. Each container in Java can use a layout manager. Java provides various layout managers in Java AWT packages, common types, flow layout, border layout, and grid layout. Layout manager, in brief, I will going to explain. Layout manager control how the components are arranged on particular in the frame. Okay, flow layout. Here, layout will arrange the components from left to right by default from JPanel. Border layout. In this, we can check north, south, east, west, and center. Grid layout, grid of the rows and columns. Okay, we will go in this grid layout. Components will arrange in a table-like fashion. It will start from rows and columns. Box layout, vertical and horizontal stacking is called as a box layout. Yeah, first, I am going to explain the flow layout. Arrange in this flow layout, arranges component left to right, wrapping the next line if needed. Okay. Here default layout for JPanel. JPanel default layout is flow layout. Flow layout arranges component in left to right flow, moves to next line when no space is left. Default layout for JPanel constructors. For this particular flow layout, we here constructors are flow layout, integer alignment, integer alignment, integer h gap, integer v gap. Here is the example. Okay. In this particular constructor, first one is a default constructor. It will going to arrange the components simply from left to right. Next one is a flow layout. In that we can justify the alignment, like left or right. In next last one is the flow layout integer. There I can give the alignment as well as horizontal gap and vertical gap also I can give over here. Here I have imported the Swing package and AWT package because I want to add the components in this particular. Here I have created frame. First one I have created the frame called as the flow layout example. Okay. Here, here I have for this frame I have set the layout called as new flow layout. Okay. Here in this frame, frame dot add button. In that frame, I have added three buttons called as button 1, button 2, and button 3. For that, I have set the layout. That particular frame, I have a set layout called as a new flow layout. Flow layout. Next, frame size is 300 and 100. Set default, exit on close, set visible. Frame will be visible when I use this set visible true function. Here, flow layout example. Here is the output of that particular program. Here, button 1, button 2, button 3, three buttons are there. As I've set here flow layout for this particular frame. Here, all the buttons are arranged from left to right. Here, first left is button 1, button 2, and button 3. Next one is the border layout. Here, description, divide the container into 5 regions: north, south, east, west, and center. Only one component can be placed in each region. Here, whole frame will divide into 5 regions. In each region, I can place only one component. Example, divide the container into 5 regions: north, south, east, west container. Only one component per region. Resizes component to fit the region. Constructors. Here, border layout. It is the first one is the default constructor. Next is border layout, integer, h gap, and integer word. That means I can give the border layout, horizontal gap and vertical gap also I can provide in this particular border layout. Here is the example. In this example, I have given the J frame. I have created the frame like a border layout example. Here, set layout, new border layout. Here, set layout. I have set the layout, border layout. Here I have added, it is must in this border layout, I must have to add 5 regions. Okay, for that I have taken the, for simplicity to understand, I have taken 5 buttons. Button name is north, south. First button name is north, second is south, third one is east, and fourth one is west and center. Wherever I have written here, this particular button name is north. I want to put this button on the north place. Here border dot north. This button will going to put on north side. For south, I have set the layout, border layout like a south. It will going to appear this button on the south direction. And for east, I have set here the border layout east. It will going to appear on a east. West button will appear on the west side region. Here center, this center will appear on center. Here these are the places or directions where I can see these buttons on that particular frame. Here is the output. For north button is on north side, west button is as I have set in that particular program. Next is grid layout. It arranges the component in the grid of rows and column. It is nothing but it arranges the components in a table-like fashion. All the cells are of equal size. Java, copy edit, new grid layout, rows and columns. I have to mention the grid layout, rows and columns. How many rows and how many columns I want to add. Similar like a table. When we create the table, we have to mention that how many rows we needed, how many columns we needed. In this grid layout also, we have to give that. Details. Arranges component in a grid of equal size cell. Components are added row by row. All the cells are of the same size. Constructor for this is grid layout. Here default constructor is not there because this is the table. I have to mention the how many number of rows I needed in that particular group, particular table, and how many columns should be there in the grid layout. Next is that, grid layout, integer rows and columns should be there. I have to mention these. And again, horizontal gap and vertical gap from top, from bottom, how much space I need to leave. Here is the example. Here I have taken the 6 buttons. I have given first I have created the frame. In that I have set the layout called as the grid layout. Here I have to give the arguments like 2 rows should be there and 3 columns should be there. For that, for 2 rows and 3 columns, I need the 6 components. Here I have created 6 buttons. Names are called as 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 for simplicity and for understanding purpose. Here, as I mentioned in grid layout, 2 rows should be there and 3 columns are there. Components are added from left to right. Here, 1, 2, 3. Next, when it come to the next, it will add in a next row, 4, 5, 6. Here, a summary of this is layouts and arrangement and use cases. Here, first layout is flow layout. In this, we arrange the components from left to right. Border layout, there are 5 regions are there: north, south, east, west, and center. Grid layout, equal size grid cells are there. For where we have to use this application of this flow layout is simple toolbar and buttons. We arrange it button rows. Next, border layout application is main window layout. Next, grid layout application is calculated keypads and tables. Here, comparison of layout manager. Here, arrangement. First, according to the arrangement, flow layout left to right arranges the component from left to right. Border layout, 5 regions are there. In grid layout, rows and number of rows and columns depends on that it arranges the component. Use cases: simple UIs, user interfaces. For that, we need the flow layout. Complex UI with a region. Next is form and tables. Grid layout. Use cases is nothing but applications of that particular Layout manager. Component size. Prefer the size. Stretches to prefer the size. That means whatever size we have given that particular size, that only it will going to appear. Here we don't have that option. Stretch to the fit. In exactly 5 regions, that component should be fitted. Here we have to divide this particular frame into an equal size where we can add the components. Summary. Layout manage automate component position. Flow layout, simple, row-wise layout. Border layout, divide the space into 5 regions. Grid layout, arranges in equal sizes grid cells. Choose the layout based on the user need only. Thank you.